are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. And in case you're just joining us, you are right on time for our gold conversation. Now, if you remember what we did on the program last week, still in our gold conversation, we did show you what would happen to your maize crop if you don't give it the right nutrients. Here we are talking about the macro, micro, and the trace elements, your zinc and your boron. Now, today we do want to show you what failed germination looks like, and also how will your crops look like if they're affected by different pests and diseases, including the fall armyworm, which is quite notorious in the maize sector. Now, to take us through this conversation, we are joined by Mr. Paul K. Mwaura, an agricultural consultant. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. All right? Na hata kabla tuende kuongelelea the pests and the diseases na germination, nikikuita kwa shamba yangu kama mkulima unifanyie consultation, kwa sababu siku hizi mlisema tuache kufanya ukulima blindly, si ndio? Tutembee na agronomist, tutembee na consultant. What are the charges like?
So the charges, it depend na the crop you are dealing with. Secondly, it will depend na location yenye uko. Unaweza kuwa uko mahali mbali, so in terms of transportation it shall be considered. But for kawaida, farmer wa kawaida, we just charge around 1,500 for consultation purposes only.
Right.
Over and above the transportation cost.
As of now, are you seeing more farmers beginning to embrace having consultants in their farms?
They are doing so, especially most of our cash crops, especially in avocado and in coffee. They are really taking it up. They are inviting us to their farm. Wenye wameachwa nyuma ni hawa wa food crops, wanasema wame hizi vitu wamelima siku mingi, they don't want to do anything.
Right.
Yes.
So unajua sana sana hawa cash crops wa avocado na coffee, most of them are also doing it for export. Exactly. So unapata mtu anataka kuhakikisha export yake ijarejectiwa huko kwa international market.
You are right.
So we need to make sure also our horticultural farmer, our food crops pia waanze kuembrace consultation.
Wajue ati kila kitu ni pesa. Even the food crops can be taken to the market after kujiwekea yenye umebakisha ya kukula.
Good.
So if they do it right, unakuta mambo iko sawa in terms of fuko na chakula.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for giving us motivation on why we need to have consultation in our farm. But now the agenda of today, tuongelele mahindi, tuongelee shida ambazo wakulima wa mahindi wanapitia, pests na diseases ni gani, he failed germination ni nini. But even before we get deep into that conversation, right now where we are, tuko mwezi wa April, mwezi wa 4. As of now, are we done with the planting season of maize?
Yes, for planting we are through. We are at the earlier stages of early weeding.
Right.
So some farmers are doing some weeding hapa na pale. So they are trying to make sure hii yenye inachomoka mapema, they deal it with it as fast as possible before you compete the main crops that we have.
Great. Kwa hivyo sasa ukikutana na mkulima wa mahindi ambaye anakuambia anaenda kupanda next week amechelewa,
huyo hayuko kwa hesabu.
Profit za mahindi ya sahau.
Because we have the rains are all over. It is almost a month since we started we got the rains.
Great.
So huyo amechelewa.
Amechelewa. Angoje next season.
Sasa huyo angoje next season ama atafute mahindi yenye ina take shortest time possible.
Right.
But varieties zina matter. Kuna variety inaweza take 8 months na still kuna variety inaweza take 45 days. So he or she can consider hii a short term so that anaweza pata mahindi, lakini for now mwenye amechelewa he can do with beans, sababu mahindi tuseme imechelewa,
amepitwa na planting season. Great. So once you have planted, wale ambao they planted on time, they were able to do it in the month of March at the onset of rains. Umehakikisha mchanga yako iko sawa, umepima, your pH is good, slightly acidic, so you also have the correct seed, umepanda. You're expecting germination, sindio? After how long does the germination start to happen, and also what's are the signs that mkulima tuona kwa shamba yake ndo ajue whatever they planted, we are progressing correctly?
Ako mbele. So what we do, it depends on the location, especially let me describe in Murang'a area. We have the lower parts of Murang'a where it takes around 4 to 5 days hiyo kitu ishachipuka. We have the coffee zones. Unakuta hiyo inateka around 6 to 8 days ndio ichomoke. Huko T zones kuna baridi sana, inaweza take hata 10 days before itoke kwa mchanga. So it depends na temperature. Secondly, quality of seeds zenye umepanda. Kama ulikuwa umepanda certified seeds zenye ulikuja ukamwaga kwanza, ukafanya selection, ukajua which is the best, ni gani imeumia juu ya these pests, diseases, ingine haina anything ndani, hiyo unaitoa, so that you improve on uniformity of whatever you are planting, and also making sure zinachomoka zote at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
Na watu ambao ni wa Uasin Gishu County, kama hiyo county ambayo tumeonyesha kwa feature yetu ya leo, watu kama hao, germination yao tuna expect ita happen after how many days?
Between 7 and 9 days hapo.
Right. Ikifika siku ngapi ndo tutajua hapa ni kama we are experiencing that what we call failed germination?
Yes, in Rift Valley, I believe within the 8th and 9th day, you should be sure that that thing is not going to shoot up and come up from the soil.
Right.
Yeah.
Ikipita 9th day,
you uko sure that that thing has already rotten ama ilikuwa na shida from the word go. So you can do gapping, or maybe you must do something else apart from waiting sasa ichomoke.
Right.
Yes.
Speaking of failed germination, you being the expert, I want you to speak to our farmers and talk to us about what are the factors in depth that could be leading to your seeds are not germinating as they're supposed to do. Na utuambie pia kama ni makosa upande wa mkulima ama pia ni makosa upande wa mahali ulitoa mbegu. Talk to us across, all areas.
So let me start with the problem from the source. Hii seed imetoka wapi? Unaweza kuta during preparation, when these seeds were being prepared from the place where we made that area that we are going to prepare our seed, this is the seed bed yenye tutakuwa tunatoa the seeds that we are going to sell to the farmers, kuwe na genetic problem. Maybe a disorder in terms of vile cross pollination ili happen, unakuta that seed ishajifunga, haitaimea. Secondly, inaweza kuwa it was affected by a pest or maybe a disease in the process ya kutengeneza at the nursery, at the clonoga areas kwenye wanatengenezea those seeds, unakuta kulikuwa na some infection ya a pest or a disease. The other thing inaweza kuwa ni issue ya storage. Walitengeneza hizo mbegu vizuri sana from the source, where they did store them, ukakuta kukawa na unyevu, ile mahindi ikaharibika. Inaweza kuwa ilipasuka, maybe zilienda zikaangushwa mahali ikapasuka, lakini ni ile tu minimum, you can never note it. So ukiweka kwa mchanga, hiyo seed already imeharibika. Tukuja kwa side ya mkulima. Unaweza kuta we have farmers who do serious deep planting. Ile mbegu, it should be between around hapo 3 to 4 inches ikiwa imeenda sana. Ukiweka chini ya hapo zaidi, hiyo mbegu ita struggle kuchomoka. Na when the 7 days ile tumezoea ya kawaida ikiisha, hiyo kitu itakuwa imefika somewhere where it cannot fight again, ndio ipate njia ya kuchomoka. The energy within that seed imeisha, penye ilikuwa imefika without the ability kuchomoka kwa mchanga. So hiyo seed ilikuwa mzuri, but the depth ikaleta shida.
Tulichimba sana.
Ilienda chini sana.
Right.
Yes.
So you have talked about mistakes that could be happening from a farmer perspective and also from the source. Wakati huu tunaona a lot of seeds, we are now treating the seeds. Unapata it has that pink, almost reddish coating. Is that a solution to help? Kwa sababu umesema you could have a very good seed, but it was affected by pests during that seed stage. Are we advising our farmers now to be on the lookout and probably lean more towards the treated seeds?
Yes, we usually advise farmers to lean more on the certified seeds, considering that penye imetengenezewa, we are so sure that it will come and make a difference to the farmer. Secondly, they do treat these seeds and make sure that when they come to your side, to the farmer side, hakuna mahali utakutana na pest yenye inaweza haribu that seed before it germinates.
Right.
So shida zitaanza kukuja after imechipuka, imekuwa sasa crop, but as a seed hakuna kitu inaweza iharibu. So that is assurance to the farmer that that seed haiwezi haribiwa. The other thing, for the certified seed to be with the farmers, it is something that they must plan for. Unajua kama hizi area na operate huku chini Murang'a ile inaitwa Idhanga, you know, farmers can just go to their store atoe mahindi na akuje apande. That does not need any planning. Lakini saa hii consider that one packet ni around 1,000, ni ya 2 kg. Unaona usipoipangia utakutwa na mvua without those seeds. So inabidi unapanga prior January, inabidi unakuwa unajua nitatoa seeds wapi, and you can even buy them na uziweke zinangoja time ya kupanda.
Right. Yeah. So when you notice you're having that failed germination happening in your farm, that's when now we are introducing the technique of gapping.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yeah.
Now talk to us about gapping. At what point am I supposed to do it? Nikiona shida imetokea kwa shamba, germination is not happening as it should have. Do I need to gap immediately? Do I need to wait? Is there a special skill to it? Please expand on that.
So after the 10th day, be sure that that seed is not going to chipuka. So what we shall do, you do an overnight inaitwa soaking, overnight soaking ya your seeds, so that tuseme unapanda kesho asubuhi, leo at around 6 kama saa hii ziweke kwa maji, the seed that you are going to do the gapping with, so that ziabsorb ile maji, utakuwa umezipea a head start of like 2 days. Sababu zitakuwa zimeimbibe ile maji, which that is something that should have been done under the soil. So may save for the 2 days, so it will just take around 4 days ziwe zimechomoka.
Right.
So it will be easier for those seedlings to compete with the rest.
Yeah. So if I'm doing gapping na niende ni plant direct, nichukue ile mbegu yangu ambayo ilibaki, nisifanye soaking. Niende tu kwa shamba yangu niendelee kujazilia hapo mahali ambapo germination haikufanyika. Mkulima ataumia kiasi gani? In terms of losing the opportunity, sababu hata wewe ukiingia kwa hiyo shamba utanote tu kuna mahindi imeachwa nyuma hapa, na itakuwa imeachwa for a very long time, lakini when you soak it, in fact una save on time na una make sure inakaribia hizi zingine in terms of maturity. Hata kama itachelewa kiasi, at least itakuwa iko karibu sana na zile, lakini ukiipea ikiwa tu that dry seed uiweke kwa mchanga ianze kukunywa maji, ndio it will take a longer time. And hiyo space itakuwa lost, sababu hata ukifanya gapping after that time without soaking, in most cases watu wanga wana lose those, sababu hata hii mahindi zingine zikirefuka, you find that that shading ina affect hizi ndogo zenye ziliachwa wanafunikwa. Kwa hivyo mkulima asifanye gapping kabla haja soak mbegu yake.
It is good to soak, na the earlier the better. Hata even before the 10 days, within the 8 to 10 days, hapo ushajua ati hii seed tuko nayo.
Ni kama uko nje sababu
unaharakisha tu, in terms of gapping.
Great. So we are taking another break right now, but when we come back, naona hapo umebeba diseased crops. Kuna mtu anaweza dhania hapa tumeleta weeds kwa studio, but these are not weeds. These are actually diseased crops from fall armyworm and other nutrient conditions that our expert is going to be speaking to us. So please stay with us. When we come back, we will be addressing the issue of weeds and also some of the common pests that have been giving maize farmers a lot of headache in the country. Please stay with us.
Kenya's Gold.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We will be continuing with our conversation with Mr. Paul on all matters maize farming. He is an agricultural consultant. But before we get back to that, of course, lazima tuongee na wakulima, giving you tips on what you need to do to make sure that you are thriving in not just agriculture, but also in agribusiness. So if you want to make sure that at the end of the day, at the end of the season, you have good produce and also good returns in your pocket, please, dear farmer, make sure that you are part of a cooperative society. Ungana na wakulima wengine, form your kikundi, register your kikundi, because when you are in a cooperative society, which by the way mnaweza form hata mkikuwa 10 members only, when you are in that society, you do stand a higher chance of getting financial support from various financial institutions like the Cooperative Bank Also, you get professional agronomists, experts, and consultants like the one we have in studio today. Anakuja kwa cooperative society yenyu, wanafundisha jinsi you need to take care of the different crops that you are growing in your farm. Also, in your society, you also get proper market at the end of the season. Kumbuka mkikusanya, mkiwa wengi, you get to aggregate more crops. Therefore, you're able to service a bigger market, and also you have a better negotiating power. Kwa hivyo kama mna supply nyanya Nairobi, mnapeleka mkiwa wengi, then that means you're able to negotiate a better price for your produce. Remember, you're not able to supply a very big market when you are by yourself. So dear farmer, take advantage of being part of a cooperative society, and also take advantage of the various credit solutions that are offered by the cooperative bank. Kama sai tumesema wakulima wengi walikuwa wanapanda, wakulima wengi sai wanafanya weeding. You probably need the correct input to make sure that you're planting correct, you're controlling your weeds correct, na pengine hauna pesa ya kutosha. You do not need to worry, because cooperative bank is offering you a loan that we call a working capital loan. This loan itakusaidia kuhakikisha umenunua the quality farm inputs that you need. And remember, when you're using quality farm inputs, it translates into your production at the end of the season. So please do not compromise on quality. You do have cooperative bank with you to make sure that they're holding your hand and journeying with you in this space of agriculture. Now, to continue with our conversation with Mr. Paul, umesema saizi kama ulikuwa unapanda mahindi, wachana umechelewa, hesabu ya sai umeuma.
That time is over.
All right.
Yes.
So what farmers are doing now is weeding.
Yeah.
All right. And we have that what we are calling post-emergent weeds.
Yeah.
So ni kama inatokea mapema, si ndio? So please, you know, for the sake of that farmer who's hearing this for the very first time, post-emergent weeds wanatokea wakati upi, and how do I need to control them in the farm?
Thank you for that question. So for post-emergent weeds, we deal with them in two ways. Sababu, you find that we have some weeds before we do the plowing. The plowing is done especially before we plant. Si tunachimbua mashamba yetu. That is the first stage of weed control, kuchimbua shamba. Sababu na expose the seeds, the pests zenye ziko kwa shamba, so zinachafuliwa na hiyo joto yenye itakuwa after they are exposed. So that is the first stage of dealing with seeds za weeds.
Right.
So the second chance you have to deal with these seeds is the moment that after you plant your seeds, you give the weeds like 3 days so that zichipuke. Before mahindi ichomoke, you deal with the weeds again.
Right. So what we are getting is post-emergent weeds wanatokea even before the seeds germinate.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to allow them watoke.
Wachomoke kwanza, because you cannot kill the seeds of a weed. You must wait for it to sprout na itoke kwa mchanga so that you can deal with it. And because they would compete our crops, zitachomoka mbele ya mahindi yetu.
Right.
So after 3 days, utaona kale ka green wanga kako juu ya shamba. That is the seeds already zisha. So that is when you deal with that problem before the seeds or the maize seeds are already sprouted na zimeanza kumea.
How do you deal with it?
So you do a spray of non-selective pre-emergency herbicides. Ziko kwa soko ni mingi sana. So nowadays we don't give much of the trade names, but most of these farmers wanajua ukienda kwa agrovet, enda uitishe zenye zina deal na weeds zenye zi already zimechomoka.
Right.
And that is the cheapest herbicides you can get in our agrovets. Sababu hizi zingine za nyasi hizi kwa mzito hizo nazo unaona una deal nazo already zikiwa big plant. So the herbicide you get is even much more costlier than hizi zingine za kufagia tu.
Great.
And we have, after doing the first spray, utakuta ni very few seeds zitapata chances zenye hazikuwa zimechomoka before you did the spraying. Hizo tu ndio zitakuja, na hizo sasa hapo ndio tunafanyanga manual weeding hiyo ya kawaida, kuja tu unazitoa tu hivyo. Hizo hazisumbui sana and they will never compete your maize.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you for making that clarification. Kwa hivyo ule mkulima mwenye alikuwa anangojea germination na hakikisha kwanza amedeal na hizo post emergent weeds kwanza.
Yes.
Right. So as we wind up this conversation very quickly, I want us to talk about the fall armyworm, which I know imekuwa ikipatia wakulima wa mahindi a lot of stress.
Yes.
This pest, is it an exotic pest?
Yeah, it is a very new pest. I believe it came to Kenya around 2017. Na ilikuja just like the normal, you know, tuko na fall armyworm ya kawaida ile ya kitambo. Ile tu ilikuwa ya kawaida, but then came a new one that was so serious because inaweza leta even beyond 70% loss to a farmer.
Na ikikuaffectia mmea yako itakaje?
So in affect this young crop. Sasa ukiangalia kama this one.
Pick it up, don't worry.
Okay. If you look at this leaf, ilianza kusumbuliwa ikiwa ndogo sana, ikiwa huku. So hapa ni kufunguka, inafunguka. That is when you see hii mashimo inakuja huku.
Okay.
Sasa si unaona, let me use this one. So unaona effect. It's a leaf that has opened up. The problem ilianza within the hole huku ndani. And that is why we are saying when we are dealing with the fall armyworm, the younger the crop, the bigger the risk.
Right.
So tunaanza protect this thing at this stage. So unaona hizi ni seeds already ziko na around this seeds ziko na around 12 days.
12 days.
Yes, tangu zie.
Kwa hivyo fall armyworm anaanza kuaffect wakiwa hiyo 12 days.
At this stage ndio zinaanzanwa nazo sababu they have soft leaves. Na ziko hapa chini, so it means ikikuja iangushe mayai hapo itapanda tu very fast before ikuje ifikie hizi zingine kubwa. It takes time. Alafu the bigger unaona the more mature that stem become, leaves zinakauka. So unakuta it is not economically, it doesn't make sense economically to spray against fall armyworm after doing the CAN, after doing the top dressing. Hiyo mahindi itakuwa already imekauka kabisa, hata ukifanya, hata there is no way fall armyworm inaweza ziharibu hapo. But at this stage hapa ndio risk iko.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Mr. Paul. Because of time, we have to wind up the conversation here, lakini hatujamaliza, because I really want you to explain to us, which you'll do next time. We'll definitely have to bring you back. Uniambie, at what point as a farmer do I need to start protecting my crops from the fall armyworm? Should I wait nione mashimo imeanza kutokea ndo nianze hiyo spraying, or I should just start doing it as a protective measure because sijui hapo mbele kutakaje? Those are some of the things that I'd like for you to talk to us about next time. But we do have to wind up the program here. A very big thanks to our farmer in Uasin Gishu County, Mr. Philip, and also the team working on this production, our viewers for choosing to be with us every single day of the week. We say a very big thanks. We'll see you again tomorrow with a lot more when it comes to all matters livestock farming. Until then, do have yourselves a fantastic evening. My name is Violetta Ngina. Goodbye.